Welcome to the Healthy Hustling Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Broadworth, and I'm here with Jamahal Sweet Dreams Hill from the UFC light heavyweight champ. Thanks for coming on, man.
No problem at all, bro. Thanks for having me.
So Jamahal says that this could be his rowdiest podcast, so we'll see. But we're going to talk today about mental resiliency. As a fighter, he has to go, obviously, through a lot, get in mindset before each fight. And we're going to talk about that as well as what some of his favorite rehab stuff is and how he approaches rehab if compared to a fight. So let's just get right into it and talk about that mental resiliency going into a fight. What is your mindset like when you're training, getting ready for a fight?
It's just work, man. You want to grind out. You want to put in all the work that you need to have all the tools available to you in the fight, which is cardio, endurance, strength, explosiveness, all those things. You want to work to where you're making those and fine tuning those as much as possible. So whenever you do get to that fight, they are all peaking at that proper level. That's kind of the focus for me anyway. And then, just the details.
Do you do any like visualization training, like, picturing yourself with your opponent, anything like that?
Yeah, 100%. I think everybody does. I think that just kind of goes without saying. Whenever you're faced with somebody, you kind of start imagining. Imagination just takes over. We all have it.
Mm-hmm. One thing, so as an athlete, I think that we all deal with this, is sometimes like doubt will creep up. Like, I don't know, you get that little voice in your head. Does that ever happen to you? And if so, like, what do you do?
Everybody has like a little negative voice that might go off in your head and might spit some things in your ear that you don't want to hear, you don't want to consider. For me, I just take them as caution, as warnings and things to just stay focused in and stay locked on and make sure I don't suffer from that.
Yeah.
Just more so just kind of focus on it to make sure it doesn't happen. But for as far as nerves or anything, I'm not really nervous. I'm more so get anxious. I get ready to go.
Yeah. So yeah, you get a little bit of like that good anxiousness where you
healthy fear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're not afraid to throw down, or get in the cage, but you just feel the pressure a little bit.
Enough fear to where if you don't do the right things, you could be hurt.
Yeah. And then I feel like too, a part of with mental resiliency is just overcoming all those other voices. You've obviously, I think, have had those voices from day one, not inside your own head, but it's, you coming out, and you've told the story before about your coworker who said, if you're so good, why aren't you fighting right now? And I kind of got you to turn it back around. But like, do you pay attention to what other people are saying? Do you listen to them as far as like, even when you're growing up, family, friends, if they ever, I don't know, did they support you, or did they say, hey, why are you going the UFC route? How did you, did you have that support? What was that like?
I've had support. I've had support from a number of different places. For the most part, though, it was just the conviction of I always knew what I wanted to do, and I was always going to do what I wanted to do. So, and then like just innately and subconsciously, that's how I've always moved. I've always moved towards things. I've always gravitated towards things that would allow me to have that type of life. So, yeah.
So you've always kind of you've played it out in your head as far as like you've had that goal and that vision of where you want to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Since I was a kid, I always knew I'd be successful. I always wanted to be like an athlete. I knew I didn't want to work a regular job. I knew I wanted to make it. I truly, what it was, I thought I wanted to make enough money to be able to retire by the time I'm 36 if I wanted to.
Why 36?
Because
seems like a random age.
I feel like 36 is a good age where you relatively still have some of your youth. Yeah. Right before you hit that, that 40 where you get hit with all the things that come with that. I don't know specifically, but just things that I've heard from older people. It's a different stage of life. It's a different stage of your life. So I was figuring, boy, I just make enough money to do whatever I want to do, like have fun, retire, just enjoy my life. And, you know.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, you're definitely more youthful and able to do things at 36 than you are at 56 than you are. That's for sure.
Right.
Yeah. So obviously you've had some, my theory, I don't think anyone going into any fight, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but like when you're in the UFC and you're fighting, is anyone ever 100% healthy going into a fight?
I don't think so. I think everybody's dealing with some type of dink or injury that they've dealt with. It just comes with what we do, because what we do every day on a daily is violent. It's violent, and it takes a toll on your body. It's you literally training camp is you beating your body down,
right,
so it can build itself back up. And with that, you're gonna have some injuries.
Yep.
I mean, whether major or minor.
So with you and the injuries you've had, and so we've worked together obviously through some of those injuries. You've had like the elbow. When you get one of these injuries that is a little bit more significant, what's your mindset going? Like, is it similar to a fight, like how you approach it?
Yeah, for me personally, just do the right things. Just do the right things to build myself back to where I don't have to where it's not something I have to think about. You know, whenever I have an injury, I have to go through a process of recovery. I'm going to it to do that, to recover 100%. So I want it to be as if the injury never happened, you know, and I want to get as close to that as possible, no matter what the injury is, you know. So that's just my mindset, is do all the right things to get back from that injury, to take care of that injury, to nurse it the way it needs to where it comes back.
Yeah.
It needs to. So it responds how I need it to whenever it's time for me to go in there and get to work.
When it comes to rehab, what is your like favorite part of rehab? Like hands-on? If so, what kind? Like hands-on, needling, massage, cold therapy.
Who don't like to get a massage? who don't like to get a massage?
Sometimes you complain a little bit about
it.
it.
Sometimes y'all be roughing people up on the massage. You know, they tough. You know, sometimes you need a little bit more rough care than usual. So, you know, granted, it don't feel nice, but afterwards is what's needed. You know, your body responds well to it afterwards. So it's not like I'm not a masochist. I don't like pain. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to just hurt myself. So yeah, you know, if I can deal, it's something. It's just like learning through fighting, right? I'll deal with the pain here in the short term to get to that long-term goal. Which the long-term goal in rehab and recovery is health, feeling great, feeling 100%.
Yeah. As far as like modalities go, you know, red light therapy is something that the UFC has, they've got at, you know, in Vegas and stuff like that. Do you feel like that has been helpful for you?
Yeah, 100%. I believe in red light therapy 100%. It's helped me since the day it was introduced to me. You know, I believe it was first introduced to me when I had my elbow injury. Whenever you introduced it to me, I started.
Was that the first time you did it? You didn't do it at the UFC?
Yeah, no, that was the first time I did it. The first time I did it was the red light therapy that we did on my elbow. You know, then I read up on it. I learned about the other health benefits to it, like so, you know, I just dove into it and started checking it out, and I saw the results. Then, like, I believe, like, after a couple of my fights where I had like injuries, like bruises, things like that, I went and did red light, and it literally took it away, like that. Like the black eye I had in the Santos fight was gone in like 2-3 days.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
So going into like the fights, who is the what's the toughest fight that you've had in your career, would you say? Most recent one, would you say?
Glover was tough, but I dominated that fight. Like that was like
he just kept coming.
He was tough. He kept coming, but I was just beating on him. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard for me to be like, oh yeah, it was tough like that whenever I'm beating on the dude.
Yeah. For
the entire fight. So was he tough? Yeah, he was tough. Was the fight tough? Yeah, man.
Who would you say then has given you the most run for your money?
Man, I mean, I like you said, run for my money. I've only lost to one dude.
Right. Would you even say that though? I mean, the only reason that fight was stopped was because of the injury.
Yeah, I mean, I only lost because of injury. But I say my toughest fight would be probably Santos fight.
Really?
Santos fight, just because of how I felt in that fight. You know, I did hit like a little wall of fatigue, just because, you know what I mean. Even in my preparation, I didn't give everything in that preparation for that fight. You know, I did some things now that I've adjusted that I don't do. So, you know, with that, and plus, you know, he was a tough dude. He had some surprises. Like his strength was surprising. How fast he was surprising. How when he threw, I thought he was just throwing wild punches, but they were actually set up and actually had a little bit more accuracy on them than I thought. So it was some adversity and that things that I had to check and I had to deal with in that fight, as well as, you know, I got hit, you know, I got in the fire. I had to force him into a fight. You know, it was a bunch of different things. You know, for those reasons, yeah, it was probably I said what's up fight.
When so connecting that to like kind of mental state, does your mental state change from, you know, when you're warming up right before a fight to the time you get into the ring to then like in the middle of the fight? Is your mental state changing? And if so, how?
I mean, your mental state changes with a change of emotions, right? So like for the most part, the lead up into the fight, like in the back, then the walkout and everything, I'm pretty much kind of the same. Just try to treat it like another day at the office. Don't get
you always look pretty jacked up to me when you're going out for a fight, ready to go.
I'll be ready. I'm in the back listening. I'm in the back bumping my music and everything like that. Just turn up, having fun with my guys, hanging out and things like that. You know, so that's pretty much the start of how that goes. And I carry that energy out until we get into the ring. Now the emotions inside the ring can change because your emotions in the ring change with you coming out and getting punched in the face. You know what I'm saying? So immediately that's an emotional change. Or if the guy starts pressing you, you know, a lot of things happen. So whenever that fight starts, the emotions do change because now you have to focus is different.
Yeah.
As opposed to get ready for fighting, just to where now you're in the fight. You have to actually deal with the different threats that come with the fight.
Yeah, for sure. That all definitely makes sense as far as how your emotions change, and obviously can kind of regulate some of that, and just making sure it's in check and you got the right mindset, and you know, you have that winning mindset of what does it take to follow through, see through, make sure that you get the W, which I think you consistently continue to do a good job with that, obviously. You've been dealing with a pretty rough recent injury. Anything that you wanted to say with that? How's that been going?
Rupture to my Achilles. You know, it's been going smooth. You know, I've been going. I had surgery maybe like 5-6 weeks ago. You know, I've just been going through recovery, rehabbing, and it's been going well. You know, I feel like it's responding right. It's healing up. It's getting stronger every day, and you know, it's just like I said before. It's the process. I'm just going through the process, taking it a day at a time, doing all the right things I need to do to make sure it's right and it's going to respond the right way.
Mm-hmm. Did you talk? Do you know? So someone had asked on Instagram, will you be fighting for the belt again after you come back?
Yeah. I was guaranteed that whenever I come back, that I will be fighting for my title with everything that comes into place. With that, you know, part of me giving up the belt for it to move along was, you know, so they can fulfill an obligation to somebody to the former champion who they had already struck that deal with. So, yeah, 100%.
Is there anyone in particular you want when you come back, or just whoever's up next?
Well, the two guys. Well, right now, with Alex beating out Jan Blachowicz, the fight that they're looking to book now will be Yuri versus John in Abu Dhabi. Mm-hmm. So, whoever wins that fight, either one of those, I think both of them are solid fights. You know, with me and Yuri, you got the story of the two unbeaten champions. You know, we both got the belt. We both had to give it up from injury. Neither one of us lost it. You know, then you have Alex. You have Alex who's trained with Glover. The last guy that was kind of in our little triad of the mix was Glover Teixeira. Mm-hmm. Before I beat him, and then he retired. So now with Alex in the mix, you know, you got the storyline of that, you know, him wanting to avenge Glover and things like that. You know, apparently the both of us, especially if he wins, then he can get both of Glover's losses back. The only 2 losses he suffered in like 3 years, something like that.
Okay.
It's been years. Like only two of us have beat Glover over the last few years.
Yeah.
You know, so you could be looking to do that. So me personally, I don't really care the one. I actually want both of them. I want both of them.
Yeah. I think you'll get both. We just got to get you back.
Yeah, that's the hard part about the injury, because had it not been for the injury, I would have gotten both. I would have gotten Yuri, and then I would have gotten Alex after that. It would have been perfect for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a little bit of a waiting game right now. And then someone else had asked too, like, how do you deal with tough times? So like, obviously getting injured, having to relinquish the belt, vacate the title, like that sucks. There's no way about that.
Yeah.
How do you, someone had asked, how do you deal with tough times?
Tough times are part of life. Tough times is part of being a man, you know. That's just what life is. You don't have to deal with adversity. You don't have to deal with misfortune, you know, and no matter what, like, it sucks losing my belt. It sucks having to lose out on millions of dollars just for the simple fact of fighting this year and things like that, and then time off. You know, time is money.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I still look at it like I'm still blessed. You know, I still have a good life, you know, and I'm in a better position than a lot of the world.
Yeah.
So, you know, just look at it glass half full, I guess.
Yeah, I think like you got to have. I think, you know, to kind of sum that up, like you have to have some gratitude, have to have some positivity. Life sucks sometimes, just like you said. Like everyone's got to deal with it, and it's how are you going to frame it? You know, I've had my fair share of injuries too, which suck, and have to have surgery, and it's just like you can have the woe is me, and I think it's important to have a little bit of like give yourself a little bit of a pity party, but then that pity party, whether that lasts for an hour, a day, you got to then flip it around, and then you got to come back.
It's all right to get mad sometimes. You're gonna have frustration. But I have frustration on like just going to the bathroom, getting ready to get in the shower, and I realize I forgot something. You know what I mean? So now I got to put my boot back on. I got to do all these other things and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, it's gonna be frustrating. You got your frustrations, but for the most part, what is just being mad and feeling sorry for yourself going to do?
Yeah, nothing.
It's not going to do anything. So you got to get proactive, thinking thought-wise with your mentality, and think, what do I need to do? Focus on the things you can control. Focus on the journey and hitting the right strides when they need to be hit, so you get back. So you don't have to do it. So you can put this behind you.
Yep, I 100% agree with that. I don't know who this guy is. Maybe you know him. I don't know. But he said, ask him when he is able to spar again. I've been trying to whoop him for years. He's ducking.
That sounds like a troll to me.
I would bet that it is.
Yeah, that sounds like a troll. Troll to me. They're trying to spar me for years when you could have been fighting for money. Make it make sense.
Yeah, that sounded like a troll to me as well. Do you listen to people online when they're like commenting on all your crap? Like
I see some of the stuff, but
you use it to fuel you, or do you just ignore it?
Yeah, you know what I mean. So like you know, I like to get petty sometimes and go back and be like, like laugh at the comments and things like that. You know, I've been doubted, disrespected.
You've been doubted at like every fight. Jimmy Crew,
everyone
you were under.
Shit. Even now, I feel like I'm the most disrespected champion that there's ever been. You know, like truly, I feel that way. I know I'm the most disrespected champion in modern day, you know, but
what makes you feel disrespected?
Just the level of appreciation and credit that I get that I don't get for the work that I do. You know, I hear every time I win or something like that, it's a negative connotation on the end of it, you know, which you block out the noise, but you know, whenever it's coming like from a certain level of people that you wouldn't expect, you know, that you thought like they had appreciation for the game and for the fighters and for what you did, you know, yeah, bro, that sucks, you know, yeah, if you just look at what I've done in this sport, like came in off the Contender Series, TKO finished, right into the fire, right off the bat. Fought in Carolina, short notice fight during COVID. Whenever they was able to have the fights back, I took the fight on 4 weeks notice. You know what I mean? Dropped the weight that I needed to drop, made weight, went in and had it, got a finish with that. Had to deal with adversity from that. Then to not even being a full year in, I'm fighting former title challengers and ranked fighters. I've been fighting these guys for the last 3 years, you know, and winning. I've lost one fight my entire life, let alone MMA, you know, that came from my elbow getting dislocated, you know what I mean, from an injury. And yeah, bro, like just knocking out the top guys, winning the title, doing it the way that I did, going to Brazil, into against a Brazilian legend, like
I mean, you were in the
in enemy territory, all that, everything against me, time zone somewhere I've never been. I never left the country before in my life, you know, and things like that. And I still went over and handled my business and showed the type of competitor and the fighter and the warrior that I am. And I just don't think it's really appreciated or been acknowledged like that. So
do you think that fuels you more?
Oh, 100%. You know, I feel disrespected. When I feel disrespected, I let people feel it. You know what I'm saying? So especially whenever I do, that's the main thing I'm focused on, the recovery to come back and everything. So that way, whenever I do come back, they gonna more than feel it. You know, I have no mercy. I have no mercy or nothing for nobody whenever I come back. It's just straight ruthlessness.
Yeah, you know, I think that's the way you need to handle it, and without a doubt. Someone else had asked, what's your favorite move in your moveset?
Jab.
Ty Fitzgerald had asked that. Jab over a hook.
Jab is way.
Jab over the head kicks you were given last fight.
Jab, bro. Jab is the most important. That's my favorite.
Why the jab?
It's the most important weapon in the fight.
Stand
up striking anyway.
Yeah. Okay. I can respect that. Yeah, no, I think that going back to like you feeling disrespected, I think you can use that again, that mental resiliency to say, complain about it, or you use it to fuel the fire and go in. And
I can complain about it and use it to fuel the fire.
Yeah, you can do both.
I mean? You know what I mean?
I feel like you do more than.
Well, people can say whatever they want. In my lane, and what I do complaining is marketing.
Yeah.
Crazy thing.
Is there anything else that I guess you want to say on here? A lot of the people on here are definitely interested in like I would say the mental resiliency, the injuries, overcoming injuries, which you continue to do. And I think that's why I appreciate you being on this, is like you've dealt with injury after injury after injury. You know, this most recent setback, what we just got to look at it as is a setback.
Yeah, I mean,
but like you've continued to overcome.
I look at it as a break, as an opportunity to grow in other areas. I can't move right now, so I can grow my mind. I can grow my business. I can grow, you know, in a multitude of different places.
What business? What are you working on right now?
All right, now
you got the social media game going.
Yeah, the biggest thing I've been working on has been my YouTube channel. You know, search it under Jamahal Hill. It's the Chat podcast. You know, working on the segments and the things that I got going for that, and then just content, you know, content creating. I want to get off really into content creating. It's something I've always been interested in. Even when I was in high school, I like making videos, I like skits, I like just making things for people to enjoy watching. So working on that and working on getting that out.
I would argue that you're the most creative when it comes to social media. Like
I think I'm the most creative period. When it comes to ideas, just putting out things. Yeah, I think I'm the most creative dude in the UFC period.
And some of your stuff is pretty edgy. If you go follow you on Instagram, Sweet Dreams Hill, has anyone tried to cancel you yet for anything? Just curious.
Yeah, of course, bro. People try to cancel people for everything. You've already been. They try to cancel you for stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I haven't been trying to cancel. Yeah, I feel like I have to walk on. I do feel like I have to walk on eggshells in this day and age.
I don't. I don't. So I don't really care. I'm gonna say, like I said in the beginning, ever since I was a kid, I was just wanting to do what I want to do, be able to do. And you know, that's how I live. I live as myself, you know what I mean, unapologetically.
Have you apologized for anything? Like,
I mean, when
it comes to like social media
or
stuff.
Shit, no.
Did you ever like apologize to Danielle Cormier about, didn't you lose in that video game or no? No. We were just talking about that earlier, so I feel like I had to. I saw the whole video.
Don't talk about me competing with DC. I don't want to get upset. It's a fucking cheater.
Are you gonna do? What'd you say?
Cheater.
Are you gonna do more like content, like video games? I feel like you like video games a lot. Are you gonna do more content?
I haven't had time
games?
to sit down and really play any video games recently, you know. And then not only that, bro, the thing that lost me about video games is the big wave of people cheating, bro. Like the cheating and the hacks. I fucking hate.
Are you talking like online? Or are you talking when you play like?
Talking about online. I didn't. Bro, who plays with anybody like
some people play, you know, old school, like two controllers. Like we're gonna go head to head in some NBA or whatever, like sports game.
You just almost made me say something that got your showcase.
Which one? What were you gonna say?
Nah,
you just said you were unapologetic.
He said that's what he said. That's how he said it. Some people play it old school. That's how poor people play it.
I see where you're going with this. I didn't say that.
Anybody with internet is not sitting and playing and measuring their level against one person, the one person in the room with them. I
hardly ever play video games anymore just because I don't have time. But I don't know. I'd rather play, honestly, probably with my buddies, like sports game one-on-one, because I just get killed online. Like I go online and I go play Call of Duty. I just like show up
like Madden 2K, because like that should be like glitchy and like just
performance. You get people who
I'll play against my boys with stuff like that, like Call of Duty and stuff.
Call of Duty, you gotta play online.
You gotta play online.
Like I would say the only good,
because that was like the last thing I was really playing. So that's instantly where my mind went, was like Call of Duty.
Call of Duty I used to love, but when I'd like respawn and then I just get sniped as soon as I respawn, like, and you got these 12-year, I don't play now. So then when you show up and these 12-year-olds are just killing you from everywhere, it's frustrating.
You gotta hear the little squeaky voices through the mic talking shit.
But maybe I'll get back into that soon and up my game. I don't know.
I'll get some in. I might get some gaming in today. Who knows?
Might as well. What are you gonna play? Call of Duty. Is that your go-to?
Pretty much.
It's a good one.
It's good. I like it. I enjoy
it. It's addicting. Are you doing
like? I never finished that Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I still gotta finish that shit. That was still like 3-4.
So we lost power at the end of that interview there with that video, but I just want to thank Jamal for coming on for that interview. Found it pretty insightful. I hope you found it insightful and entertaining as well. Well, if you want, please follow Jamal. You can follow him on YouTube at the Champ Chat Podcast. You can find him there. You can also find him on Instagram at Sweet Dreams J Hill. So be sure to give him a follow. If you have any questions or comments, please put in the comments below. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can also reach me via email at eric@fuelphysicaltherapy.com. That will be in the description of this podcast, whether you're watching on Spotify or YouTube, it will be in there. So I'll include all of that on how to follow Jamal. Be sure to do that. Thanks for listening.